identify the different skill sets required for implementing each of the tools that you guys mentioned?
Well, I talk from Fiori aspect first of all. From the implementation perspective, you don't need any special skill sets because it's all about straightforward implementation. This is the first tool. This is the first tool I can say that from SAP, which is it's more like plug and play. It's not as simple as plug and play, but from SAP perspective, for sure it is a plug and play.
What about customizations?
Okay, for customization, I'm not sure if I have a set. You can bring this one out. I have a slide.
Oh, fine.
Okay. We'll talk about that and these are the different layers that we were talking about when you talk about Fiori, right? The first one is the backend business process layer. Your ECC or CRM or any backend system that you have, right? If you are enhancing something, you know how you have to enhance it today. You are doing it right now using a web or whatever. And then front end, that is nothing but the gateway layer. Again, it's again a web. So here we are talking about OData services. I know SAP is focusing a lot on OData services. They're coming more and more OData services. Sometime back, they used to create a lot of iDocs, then backends from the integration perspective, more of proprietary. Now it's more of open with OData services, right? And then the third one is the user interface layer. This is where it gets a little tricky. You can say, like, you know, either you need SAP UI5 or HTML5 or JavaScript. So those are front-end tools, right? That is what for responsive design and all. That is what is bringing you that features. So either whether you enhance or create for something from scratch, yeah. From the front-end perspective, I mean UI perspective, you need those skill sets. I mean, you can, if you have an HTML5 or JavaScript developers, you can leverage them.
So
yeah.
What about customization in your business layer? That's you don't have to repeat that or redo it, recreate it, or Fiori.
Okay, I'll put it this way. See, as long as it's a business process logic change, I think you're fine. If you need to bring up additional fields, right? Yeah, then you are touching the UI aspect.
Okay.
Well, from the business, again, you might be touching the gateway also. That is the OData service. Because let's say today you have a module pull program or a report or some function module that is doing something for you. Mm-hmm. Or let's say creation of sales order itself, right? Mm-hmm. You have a business BAPI or you have a ES01 transaction for it. You have enhanced it with some additional custom fields. Also, there is some changes in your pricing logic or whatever. Mm-hmm. What happens? From the OData perspective, you have to add those fields in the OData service so that is going to publish it to your front end, right? You are adding those fields there. Then, from the UI perspective, you are going to add those. It's like screen development in a web.
So if you're using GUI-XT and you wanted to bring some of those fields into
GUI-XT, I'm not sure about that, if it is going to enhance anything in the actual backend or not. And maybe Marcus can throw some light on that. As long as it is extending everything in the backend, you will be fine. Of course, again, you have to expose that though through an OData service.
So we're using, I mean, everything in the backend is all strictly core. Now, all we're doing is using the overlay to expose the user to what we want them to see, or bring back information we want them to see, and give them the fields we want them to be involved in. Just limiting down what they need to see and minimizing the clicks.
So to add to that, basically if you have any customized fields or transactions that you're using today, you don't have to touch the back end again. Right? You can have the same fields, you can combine them, put it on one screen on the desktop, assessment doing, or leverage the same screens on the mobile devices, not touching the back end at all.
Well, unfortunately, we've pretty much, I think, run out of time.
One question.
Sure.
Did you say to change the UI layer that would have to be a Java developer to do that?
Say it again, please.
Did you say that would require a Java developer to change the UI?
Not Java developer, either SAP UI5 or HTML5 and JavaScript.
JavaScript.
Yeah, it's a scripting language.
But depending on what you do, the tool to do that is SAP Web IDE. So there we're also right now working on what you see is what you get environment. And right now this would be called extensions, so that you can actually do with drag and drop. There are so-called extension points on the Fiori applications, which means you don't have to touch the Fiori application, remain notification free, and that you can do without any coding. There's some predefined extension point, hiding fields and so on. You can do it without any coding knowledge on that one there. If you want to do some kind of more fancy stuff, then you have the option to go with coding. Coding then would mean JavaScript, HTML, yes. But you can start off light off with it through that tool without any programming knowledge.
Well, I think we've run out of time. I just wanted to point out that we've got, if you want to find out more about Fiori, we've got a session over in the user experience group, session number UX 204, tomorrow, I believe, from 12 to 1. Is that correct?
Exactly. It's giving an overview of the whole strategy, decision points, when to use which tools, and showing you some further examples.
And then in the session, what is that? It's room S210C. What time is that? Does anybody know?
S210C is still.
Oh, that's this one here. Okay, and then there's also another session. Oh, I see it. Today from 4:15 to 5:15 over in the ASUG Hub Theater 1. Tyson Foods will be there for more information on GUI-XT.
A little deeper dive.
Thank you, deeper dive.
Nice job.
Thank you very much to our panelists, and if you have any more questions, they could be available for a minute or two.